Hello and welcome to a surprise showcase for the WitchWood expansion. Blizzard revealed 4 cards for the odd and even only Baku and Gen decks. Yes, it's Gen, not Jen, but I will always love you, Jenny. Anyways, it's nice getting some cards for the Baku and Gen. Anyways, it's nice getting some cards for the Baku and Gen decks because these card designs could help give us an idea of what Blizzard has in mind for these type of decks. There's a lot of unknown factors, tons of cards rotating out, 130-ish cards we still haven't seen. Q-Block might be just as powerful as it is now. Basically, it's too early to tell if any of these Baku or Gen decks will work. I'm going to try to use the design of these new cards to see what directions these decks might go in. I want to talk about what needs to be printed for these decks to work and the role these new cards have in the deck. First up is Black Cat, 3 mana, 3/3 mage beast with spell damage and battle cry. If your deck only has odd cost cards, draw a card. So you'll notice these odd and even requirement cards are all pretty strong, and this is obviously because of the strict deck building requirement. But I think for the deck building restrictions to be worth it, it's important that these decks take advantage of everything these cards have to offer. So for Black Cat, it's a 3 mana 3/3 spell damage and card draw. The stats are but drawing a card is good in any deck, and the spell damage could be a nice touch. But to truly take advantage of this card, the ideal deck would be Tempo. Bad news is, Secret Mage cards are rotating out, direct spell damage is all even costing, and you can't even use a Luneth. So I think a crazy Tempo Mage is off the table for a little bit. And this leads me to the other side of the spectrum, a more controlling deck. Baku upgrades the hero power to deal 2 damage, and this could be great for clearing enemy minions. The more times you use your hero power, the more value you're going to get from Baku. So if you're able to make an odd-only control mage, then Baku's value is really going to shine through. More board clears and higher costing value cards need to be printed for Baku control mage to work, especially to compete against Q-Block. Even though Black Cat doesn't necessarily mesh super well in a control deck, I think if Baku mage works, they'll play 2 Black Cats because they're just solid cards. And I think this is basically the rule for all of these odd and even cards revealed today. If you can build a deck within the requirements, these cards are going to make the decks better. Next up is Gloom Stag, 5 mana 2/6 with taunt and battle cry. If your deck only has odd cards, gain 2/2. So 5 mana 4/8 taunt is a pretty decent stat line. I mean, this is just good, right? And that's not all, because the upgraded Druid hero power is also pretty nice. 2 mana give your hero 2 attack and 2 armor is really flexible. It lets you clear minions similar to Mage's upgraded hero power, but it also lets you smork and gain 2 armor. Baku Druid seems like another good idea for a control deck, but wait, Gloom Stag is a taunt and a beast. Going with a taunt deck, you could put Hadronox in there. You're gonna miss some other good taunt cards, but there are still some decent neutral ones that you can use. Gloom Stag is only a 2/6 from Hadronox, but that's not terrible. But I think this taunt deck would need some sort of win condition. You can buy all the time you want hero powering and playing taunts, but Druid doesn't have the same board clearing or armor gaining capabilities as a control warrior. Something really special to give this deck a win condition would have to be printed for this deck to be viable. But maybe I'm focusing too much on the Gloom and not enough on the Stag. There are some beast cards rotating out of Druid, but guess what? They were already trash. All 4 of the cards revealed today are beasts. Gloom is a really strong beast, and even Baku is a beast. Could there be more on the way? Specifically good beasts for Druid? I think if Blizzard printed some strong beast synergies for Druid, this could be a special control or mid-range deck. You could have beasts, armor gain, and upgraded hero powering all over the place. And I think if Blizzard got some strong odd beasts, their flexible hero power could take this deck over the edge. To a tier 3 deck at least. Next up is Merc Spark Eel, 2 mana 2/3 Shaman Beast with the battle cry. If your deck only has even costing cards, deal 2 damage. So this is a Gen card, which means it would make the totem summoning hero power only cost 1 mana. And you may think this is lame, but no, because of one card. Bloodlust. Wait, Bloodlust is an odd card? Well, there is the totem deck. Oh no, Windshear Stormcaller also costs 5 mana. Okay, Shaman still sucks. Individually, Merc Spark Eel is a great card. You can use the 2 damage to clear an enemy minion or smork. It's an instant add to the Shaman Gen deck. But the only advantage I see to making a Shaman Gen deck is the 1 mana hero power could help you constantly be refilling your board. To take advantage of this, Shaman needs some sort of even costing board buff to deal a bunch of damage. So I see this deck going in some sort of aggro direction. Now, do I actually want this sort of deck in the meta? Not really. It would be annoying and rely too much on drawing a few cards to win the game, and I hope Blizzard doesn't want this deck either. I don't think there's going to be a Gen or Baku deck for Shaman, because making the hero power better just isn't as powerful as the other classes. So unless Blizzard prints a powerful even costing board buff, I don't think Merc Spark Eel is going to see play. And last up is Glitter Moth, 5 mana 4/4. If your deck only has odd cost cards, double the health of your own minions. Inner Fire, anyone? So we're back to Baku, and upgrading Priest's hero power would allow them to heal for 4, which would be great for keeping minions alive out on the board. I could see a deck focused on maintaining board control, trading with minions, and healing your own. And Glitter Moth slides in perfectly to this deck as a great way of beefing up your own minions. Now, is this an Inner Fire Nightmare? I don't really think so. You can't run Divine Spirits or Shadow Visions in a Baku deck, so I think the current Inner Fire Priest deck iterations are just better. Running an Inner Fire could combo nicely with Glitter Moth to create a big threat on the board, but it's not a consistent lethal. Again, I think it's about getting as much value as you can, and using your hero power to keep your minions on the board alive. But there's another card that might be able to work in this deck. Priest's Dragon Soul hasn't been able to hang with the other weapons this expansion, but it's a new year, there's going to be fewer cards, and maybe a spell Baku deck with Dragon Soul, Lyra, and other value gaining spells could work out. Being able to get 3 or 4 5/5s just from playing spells would work well in this deck. Playing Glitter Moth would buff them up to 5/10s, and that's pretty good to maintain on the board. It's a bit far-fetched, but the stars may align just right for this deck to work. That's all the cards for now. Let me know if you think these decks are going to work. I'm still a bit skeptical of whether or not there's going to be enough cards in the game for any Baku or Gen decks to work. They're going to start releasing more cards March 26th, so I'll be making videos then. If there are any other cheeky early releases, I'll let you know about them as well. But until next time, ta-ta.
That's nice.